Excellent. We've got about 30 people joining us tonight for this fantastic conversation about our trip to England, Ireland, and Wales. And I'm so excited to chat with so we started here. It's 7:01, and I want to be mindful of everyone's time. So I'm going to get the show started. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things. If you would like to ask a question, feel free to write it out in the chat section there. And my good friend Rini is on the call as well, and Rini is going to be sort of monitoring the chat for us to see if we have any questions that I can answer along the way. But the best way to find out more about this tour after this meeting is over is to scan a QR code or to visit the link is provided at the end of the meeting. Everyone good? So if you could mute yourself, that would be ideal. All right, here we go. You good to go? All right, perfect. So my name is Liz Schmitz. I'm the director of property and program with, and I'm really excited to share everything about this trip with you. We have been traveling for a couple of years now with Girl Scouts of NYPENN Pathways, and we're going to keep going. I'm going to keep this until we visit every continent in the entire world, and all of the girls that are joining us have the absolute best time of their lives on these trips. So with that, no further ado here, I'm going to move along in my presentation. So that's me. Well, that's not me, that's a map. But that's my name and also my email address. So if you have questions or concerns or anything after this, feel free to reach. Right now, I'm currently in charge of all of our travel. So we're going to Salem and Boston in May for older girls, cadets, seniors, and ambassadors. We're going to Niagara Falls again with the youngers. We've got some other trips sort of in the hopper that we're looking at to take as well. And like I said, we're going to continue to travel all over the world. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'm more than answer them for you. So on our agenda for this evening, our introduction, it's already done. Check. Our itinerary, what we're going to see on this fantastic, wonderful trip, what's included and what's not. So you'll want to know that information as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about our travel partner, because I don't do this by myself. We partner with EF Tours, and you may have heard of them. They're fantastic. That helps along the way. What they provide, including safety and support. And then finally, the thing that everybody wants to know, pricing and how to enroll. So I've got some pretty awesome surprises for you at the end of this as well, in case you would like to enroll tonight. So here we go. Let's travel. Let's see the world. Why do we do it? Why do girls want to travel? Why do you want to travel? If you're free, why you want to travel. I have a lot of reasons why I want to travel. Mostly the food. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy the food quite a bit. Sure, definitely. This past summer we went to Japan. And so that was one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my whole life. It was super cool, different than the United States. So that was kind of a cool thing to see and do. Italy and Greece last summer as well. And I got to tell you, the Greek feta, holy cow, you have not had feta cheese, actually been to, it's amazing. So I'm back to the food. That's it. It's the food for me. So feel free to drop in the chat why you want to travel. But I know it's just the food. So why do we travel? Why do we travel, right? Cultural competence. Going to Japan was eye-opening. There's so many things that happen in Japan culturally that they're not in the United States. And it was such a cool place to sort of walk around and see the connection to nature and the fish culture, back to food. And, you know, why everyone's so polite and why the streets are the way they are and just how they do everything. And it was just the coolest thing. I have a much better appreciation for the Japanese culture than I did before I traveled. You definitely need the confidence to drag your luggage through an airport at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're going and you're trying to catch that flight, and someone saying, you have to say, I'm with that group, let me through. Building your confidence is one of the biggest things that I can see on these trips. Girls really advocate for themselves and how to keep cell group, and sometimes for their moms or their dads, the people that they're traveling with as well. And it's a great way to grow confidence. Why else do we travel? leadership. Kind of the girls summer were inspired to take action in their community. This is a great way to sort of gear up for your gold award. If you're working towards your higher sword and goal, this is a great way to increase your leadership skills. You can present your experiences to other folks. You can learn more about a culture. Maybe that's something that you want to address in your gold award. You go to their country and issue a problem that's happening in that country and maybe connects to our country in some way, and you want to try to fix that. So that's kind of a cool thing when you expand your leadership skills on these trips. And last but not least, maybe depending on what slide is next. So yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there are some people in the chat that are saying that your audio is freezing and someone else is saying that they can't hear. Do you have any advice?
Oh, I do not like that.
I know. You're freezing for me as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna move. I'm moving. I'm gonna move. I'm in a weird spot in my house. I'm gonna go to a different weird spot in my house and find out why this is happening.
Okay.
So come journey house somewhere to a place with better internet connection. Here we go. It's a quick trip down the stairs.
Watch your step.
Down the stairs. Here we go. Headed down my stairs, headed into this living room. And down here is the sweet spot where my internet typically doesn't get all glitchy and weird. So keep me updated on whether or not it's working. All right. Look at that. Now I have confidence that my computer is going to work appropriately. Is that a little bit better?
Hopefully? So far, so good. I'll watch the chat.
All right.
Let me know.
Look at that. You just took your first trip with me. Amazing. We broke the ice. Very good. All right. So let's talk about my good friends at EF. So EF Tours, it's education first is what EF stands for. And EF is really all about education. They ensure on these trips that we learn all about the culture and the historical parts of the places that we're going to see. We went to Japan and we visited lots of shrines and Buddhist temples and, you know, learned about the samurai and why they were important to the culture of Japan and all of those things. So it is really all about the education. And it's all about the people and making relationships. EF Tours is the world leader in international education. They have people all over the planet, for real. They have schools and they have offices, they have volunteers, they have tour guides, they have staff members. They're 365 days on, 24/7. When we needed support on our past trip to Japan, they were there right away. They were on it. They were calling me. It was, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Japan, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning in the United States, and they answered the phone and addressed my issues. So they are truly all over the place. They are our safety partner as well. As I mentioned, there's local support and insight worldwide. They have an incident response team, so if something does happen on tour, they're able to send people to us and talk us through the incident on the phone and through a variety of different ways. They have rigorous health standards. I can tell you after COVID, they were on top of it. They have a COVID promise that they follow. If someone gets sick on tour, they have a system in place. And a lot of times, especially during COVID, there was no extra cost to families if you ended up getting sick on the tour, which is really, really cool. There's a 24/7 tour director and chaperone team support that's on the tour with us. So we get assigned our own chaperone and they stay with us throughout the entire thing. So we're traveling to England, Ireland, and Wales. They're going to meet us at the airport on the first day, and they're going to stay with us throughout the entire tour. They're going to see us off in the airport when we leave on that last day. So they're with us the entire time, which is great. They are our education partner as well. So they do offer credit. They offer college credit and high school credit for the trips that we take. So if you are interested in getting credit, you can visit their website or reach out to me or Maggie, who is my EF Tours liaison, and figure out how to get college credits for doing these tours, which is pretty awesome. I imagine that writing your college essay about your trip to Japan, the first time you've ever been out of this country or on an airplane, and the things that you learned about yourself would be an amazing topic for your college essay, if that's something that you're looking into. And then they are not called Education First for nothing. We really do learn quite a bit, and not only about the culture that we go to, but also about ourselves on these trips as well. See, I keep blocking myself here. So I want to talk about a little bit about the Peace of Mind program. So if something happens, for example, I know that there were some trips to go to Paris, and there was a little bit of unrest in Paris over this past couple of months here. They were actually able to rebook those trips either to a different location, or they were able to rebook during a certain or different times when hopefully there's a little bit less unrest in the Paris area. So they really work with us to try to make sure that we are going to be safe when we're going to these places. And if something happens there, that they send their support team in to take care of whatever is necessary as well. So for each traveler, you'll also get global travel protection, $190, which is included in the price of the trip. So when you're paying your monthly payments or your manual payments, that's already factored into the cost. So it's just sort of like included in the price. It provides coverage for baggage, for property loss, if you're at any sort of trip cancellation, if you break your femur 2 days before the trip, which hopefully you do not, but if you do, this would cover you. It covers all sorts of different things. And on the EF website, we can send links to that as well. You can see the long list of what this covers when you get it, like I said, because it's included. And then the Global Travel Protection Plus is an additional cost, and that's just the souped up plan. So that's not required. You don't have to do that. But in case you're like a super want to plan for everything kind of person, the Global Travel Plus is a good way to go. The last thing that I really enjoy here is that there's risk-free enrollment for 2 weeks after today. So if you sign up by, what is today? Yes, if you sign up by 12/1, which is tomorrow. Gosh, if you sign up tonight, you can cancel for any reason within the next 14 days. So if, for example, you're like me and you're like, I'm going to go on this awesome trip, but I failed to tell my husband. And then I sign up tonight and I'm like, hey, I guess I just signed up for this awesome trip. And it's July 14th. And he's like, guess what? I have to tell you, that's my sister's wedding. And then I'm like, oops, I can cancel. There's no penalty. Get your money back. And it's totally fine. So if you sign up for this trip tonight or anytime before midnight today, you do get that risk-free enrollment. So there you go. You probably should know about your husband's sister's wedding more than this in advance, though. Well, no, it's 2025. This trip is definitely in 2025. Yeah. All right. All right. So let's talk about the trip. Speaking of the trip, Rini, do we have anything in the comments that I need to address here quick before we move on? Nothing. Okay.
I was muted. No.
Still kind of freezing a little bit, but yeah, better.
No, you still are cutting out for some people, but it is better. So I think that unfortunately for some, it's not coming through, but we'll have the recording.
Yeah, we do have the recording. Okay. So let's go. Let's talk about our trip to England, Ireland, and Wales. So in the comments, if you would like to maybe comment if you want to about why you'd be interested in going on this trip. I'm here in Syracuse, New York, and if you live anywhere near Syracuse, we have a really big population of folks who emigrated from Ireland, my grandparents included. So they came from County Tipperary, and they actually settled on Tipperary Hill here in Syracuse. And so my grandfather straight over, on the boat, and this is where he's from. So it's kind of a bucket list to sort of visit the homeland, I guess, and go back to where it all began, right? So we are going to Shannon Airport and traveling through the south of Ireland up into Dublin. We're going to take a ferry from Dublin over to Wales, spend a day or two in Wales, and then head over to England after that. And we're going to kind of travel around and end up down in London. So we have a little bit more of a detailed itinerary here in a few. Blarney Stone is the Blarney gas places that we're visiting. In the bottom right there is a place called Pax Lodge. And if you're familiar with WAGs, the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, 3 G's in that one, then you would be familiar with this. This is a world site, a world center, and we'll be traveling there to meet some Girl Guides and to have a pinning ceremony. So if you're an older Girl Scout, if you're a senior and ambassador and you're kind of at the edge of your Girl Scout career here, moving into adulthood, what a great thing to be able to visit a world center and be pinned in another country at a world center. So it's kind of a cool way to cap your Girl Scout career. Let's see, some tour highlights. I already mentioned some of these here: exploring the streets of Dublin, Blarney Castle and Blarney Stone, the Tower of London, super spooky, right? If you don't know anything about the Tower of London, Google it when we get off this call and you'll learn some crazy, creepy facts. Girl Guides at Pax Lodge, and then we're going to take a Harry Potter walking tour. I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter, love all the books and the movies, and so that Harry Potter walking tour in London.
What's for dinner for tomorrow night, sausage?
Oops. There we go. So that's going to be one that we do in London. We're also going to be taking a ride on the London Eye, which is the big wheel in London. And we're also going to be taking a boat tour on the river. So that would be kind of cool too. Kind of London by sea and by air, I guess, if you think of it that way. So this is a little bit more of a specific itinerary. So we fly overnight into Ireland. We meet our tour director, like I said, at the airport, and our tour director will be with us the entire time. We're traveling through the south of Ireland. So this is when you think of like Ireland and the green rolling hills and the lush grass and the green that hurts your eyes. This is where we're going to be, right in the middle of it. We're going to be visiting the Ring of Kerry. There's castles all over the place. There's sheep. There's going to be a ton of sheep. There's going to be sheep dogs. We're going to a sheepdog demonstration. The Kerry Bog Village Museum with that little pony up there. It's going to be great. And we're going to be driving through the rural parts, some of the rural parts of Ireland as well. We're going to end up in Dublin and do some sightseeing there. I'm going to move my little thing around here. How do I get that to go out of the way? Oh, there it is. Yes. And so after that, we're going to take the ferry to Holyhead. I wonder if it's pronounced that way, but it's pronounced something not that I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to Google it later because I never even thought of going to Wales. So this is kind of a cool thing. Like I think I've said this before. I didn't realize that Wales was like on this side of England. For some reason, I thought it was on the bottom of England. I have no idea. I mean, I know like the White Cliffs of Dover are there, but I guess my brain couldn't figure it out. So I was really surprised to find out that Wales is like over here and not down here. Anyways, I'm super excited to visit it because I've never thought to visit Wales. So we'll spend a couple of days there and then we'll finally head into England. And when we get there, we're going to be going to Stratford upon Avon and taking a tour of Shakespeare and walking the streets where he did and visiting Anne Hathaway's college. She was his wife. So that should be kind of interesting as well. We're going to take in all the sights of London, Big Ben, Parliament. I say that a lot in this house. Big Ben, Parliament, a guided tour of London with a local, and then of course London and the Harry Potter walking tour. So it's going to be fun filled. It's going to be action packed. There's going to be a lot of walking, which is fantastic. And then we're going to hop on a plane and come. So that's it. The next thing I want to talk about is what's included in the price of this. So when you pay for a tour and go with EF, you get most everything included. Round trip airfare, hotel stays, regional style meals for breakfast and dinner. Breakfast and dinner are always included. Sometimes our tour guide will give us free time for dinner, especially if we're in a city center or something. We did it quite often in Japan and it was great. And our tour guide gave us cash money and said, go find your place. You want fish and chips? Now's your turn. If you want beef stew, find your place. And you want to eat ice cream and that's it. Fantastic. Here's 20 euro and go for it. Or actually, you know what? They don't use euro in England. So we're going to have to take that into consideration because they do in Ireland, but they don't in England. So we'll have to figure that out. We'll have to manage that. So breakfast and dinner are always included. Lunch is usually on your own. So this is like like I said, if you really want to try something, if you try rabbit stew and you've never eaten that before and that's something you really want to try, but everyone else is like, gross, I don't want to eat rabbit, you can branch out and go out to lunch and find that rabbit and eat it and it will be delicious. Tour director 24/7, like I said, transportation, which is a comfortable coach bus with storage underneath for your luggage. Usually they have ports for USBs and that kind of thing. We get local guides with us. So like if we do go to London and we do a walking tour, a Harry Potter walking tour, we'll meet up with that person who knows what we need and they'll lead us through that tour at that time. And then all entrances, admissions to any landmarks, Tower of London, the boat on the Thames, the dog demonstration, all of those things are included with the price of the trip. Let's see. What are we responsible for? So you are responsible for your passport. It is 2025. This trip is 2025. So you have plenty of time to get your passport underway. I don't think that visas are applicable, but we'll let you know the information as we get a little bit closer. Baggage, but if you have been on trips with me before, you know that my trips are carry-on only. So don't be afraid, though. We have lots of tips and tricks. When I saw Deb, traveler with me on the Japan trip is in the audience tonight, and I know she'll tell you that carry-on is not as daunting as it seems. You can do it. Tips for local guides, bus drivers, and the tour director. So we do provide tips. It's usually like, oops, how do I go back? We usually do tips like, $1 or $2 for the bus driver, and $4 or $5 for a local guide. The tour director gets a little bit more. So right before our trip, I'll let you know how much tip money is required, and I'll take care of it, and we'll take care of it on the trip. You don't have to worry about it once we collect it all. So there's that. Lunches and snacks obviously is on your own, spending money for items that you want to purchase, souvenirs and whatnot on your trip. So this is our window of travel. And EF makes sure that we have a window of time sort of blocked out, because they try to get us the best rates. They're connecting flights between, like Syracuse. They have to make sure there's a flight to Syracuse, and where's it going to go, Detroit or JFK or wherever, and then it's got to go to Shannon, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into these trips. So they tell us to block off this window of time. I requested July 14th through July 23rd as our trip dates, but it could be that we leave on the 11th and come back on the 25th, right? Because this happened up that way, or there's another group that's going to be in Dublin at this time and we can't overlap with them, so we have to kind of make it work and puzzle it all together. So yeah, sure that we sort of block off this window of time. For the past 3 trips that we've taken, they have always given us the dates that we've requested. There's been no issues with that whatsoever. Also, if you're going to take this trip with us, make sure that you're not overbooking yourself for things. If you've got a soccer tournament that starts I don't know, Sunday, July 27th at 5 p.m., take that into consideration. And if that trip butts up against that, what's your life going to be like, right? So think about that. Or if you're going on a family vacation and it comes back July 14th at 10 o'clock at night, but you really want to go on this trip, just keep that in mind and think about what your body and your emotional state is going to be like if you book yourself on this type of thing. Okay, so just keep those things in mind. Let's see, next up, the cost. Here we go. That's the most important part, right? So making it happen, the cost of this trip for our Girl Scout travelers is $4,964. Remember, that is including everything that we just talked about: flights, hotels, coach bus, tour directors, breakfast and dinner, all of those things are included. Okay. If you make bi-weekly deposits into your account after your $95 down, and it's only $90 to see your spot on this trip, it will be $128.50 bi-weekly until we get to the trip. That's pretty affordable for the most part. Our manual payment costs a little bit more, I think. There's a small fee that's attached with that. So we always recommend that you do the automatic payments that just go. And then if you're an adult that wants to travel, we do ask that you keep in mind that this is a girl trip. Priority is going to be given to Girl Scouts who want to travel with us, but adults can travel too. This is something that you really have always wanted to do with your kiddo and you want to come on this trip, you are welcome. The total price is $55.94. Generally adult admissions and some adult things tend to cost a little bit more on these trips. So adults come in at a little bit of a All right. So the next slide is going to be talking about things that you can do to help start your travel. There are enrollment discounts. So if you do enroll on this trip tonight, you will get a $200 early enrollment discount. So that's kind of a sweet deal. EF will global citizen scholarships are a thing. EF gives thousands and thousands of dollars each year to folks that apply. And there's no harm in that. You just make a video about why you want to travel, submit it, and you could be the winner of $1,000 towards your trip. There is a customizable tour donation page as well for all travelers. So for example, we're coming up on the Christmas and Hanukkah and holiday season. And I always joke with my kids, like, if I have to buy you one more Lego set, I will just not be in a good mental place. I'd much rather buy them experiences, right? Like, who wants to Greek Peak? I would much rather go to Greek Peak for the weekend than get you more Legos. So there are a lot of folks out there that are looking for experiences, and there are a lot of grandparents and aunts and uncles and, you know, friends that want to give you an experience and help the world. And this is a great way to do it. Anyone who wants to donate to your account, I can see that my connection is a little bit slower, so I'm just going to pause for a second. Anybody who wants to donate to your account, it goes directly to you. There's no money taken out. The 100% of their donation goes directly to you and towards your tour balance. So and then last but not least, we do have a council troop. So you'll be in the travel troop if you decide to go with us. And so you have the opportunity to participate in the fall product sales, the cookie sales, and any other money earning activities that our travel troop does. And it's not like when you're raising money with your troop. It's a little bit different. The parameters are a little bit different. And so you individually can earn money and experience credits to go to this trip if you sell cookies with the travel troop. So not everyone has to opt in. That's not really a thing. We opt outwards to get the most money back on each box that we sell. And we make sure that you get spots in council sponsored booths. So that's another great way to raise money and earn money for your trip, especially if you know you're going to sell cookies anyways. It's a good way to do it. So this is it. Time to enroll. So one bus. We already have some folks enrolled. We opened this tour about 9 months ago, I think. And so we have a handful of folks that are already registered for this. But our goal is to fill a bus. So we have 20 spots available tonight for those who would like to enroll. If you enroll by December 1st, which is tomorrow, or in, I don't know, 4 hours, 4.5 hours here, you will get that $200 discount. All you need is a down payment of $95 to save your spot. If you know you want to go on this trip, I would do it now. Like I said, if you enroll tonight, you'll have 14 days after today. If you need to cancel for any reason, if you have cold feet and you're not really sure, you can cancel and get that down payment back with no questions asked. So another holiday bonus that I'll tell you about, which I think is super cool. Anyone who registers for this trip before Monday, December 4th will receive a special gift from me. I'm going to curate a cute little gift box for you with some special swaggy swag from England, Ireland, and Wales. I'm going to include this t-shirt. So if you look closely, it's like a bunch of trefoils that are like interconnected, like an Irish knot, which is super cool. And so you'll get your choice of size and color on this t-shirt, a little certificate that says, I'm going to Ireland, Wales. So if you're a parent on this call and your kiddo is not on this call and you want to surprise them with this trip of a lifetime, I'm going to mail this to you so that you can give it to your kiddo during the holiday season to open. So there you go. And last but not least, Maggie, awesome Maggie at EF says that if you enroll by midnight tonight, you get an extra $100. So you get $300 off this trip if you enroll tonight before midnight. That $300 discount plus the gift to open during the holiday season is yours. So if you do choose to enroll, which I highly encourage you to do, I myself will be on the trip and I'm super cool and very fun to travel with. You can follow that link there, eftourist.com. The 2591465FF is the tour number. So if you get kind of turned around with the website there, that's the number and the two FFs there to get to this tour. Or you can use your phone to scan that QR code there and it will take you right to our site. I'm going to check the chat real quick.
I was just going to tell you, Liz, a couple questions. How old?
What a great. Okay, so Ava, your question is. Oh, good. Okay, yeah, Rini. Can 12-year-olds go? Yes. So you have to be 12 at the time of travel. So if you are, you're gonna make me do math now, right? So if you're 10, but you're gonna be turning 12 on like July 1st, 2025, you have to be 12 at the time of travel. So as long as you're 12 by July 14th, 2025, you can go with us. This is also a really great trip for individual Girl Scouts who you just want to go it on your own. We actually had, I would say 24, 25 individual travelers that came to Japan with us. Girls ages of 17 who did not come with a parent. They just traveled by themselves and they loved it. It was a great time. Yep, 12 years old at the time of travel. And it's great for individual girls who want to spread their wings and have their own adventure.
Next, Liz, what about troop leaders? Are they needed for chaperones? Do they pay adult price? And are there any free spots available?
So troop leaders would pay the adult price. So this is not a trip that requires adults within ratio. So we do get chaperones. So like I would be a chaperone on this trip. We have a system that we use to decide what chaperones will go on which trips, and I'll share that with any trip leaders that are interested in that too. We want to give you a chance to apply. If you do come as a chaperone, that is a free of charge trip. If you want to come as an adult, as a troop leader, that would be the adult price. So there could be free leader spots available. It depends on how many people sign up. And if there's like 50 people that apply to go on this trip, that's going to be trying to narrow it down and have the applications reviewed and that sort of thing. So yes, there are spots available. How many and how open they're going to be in 2025 is still up in the air. So, but I will make a note of that, Beth, that you may be interested in being an adult chaperone on this trip.
Is there a medical personnel on the trip?
Girls only have to be 12 to go alone. So if you have a super cool, say again, Jeannie?
Is there medical personnel on the trip?
So by medical personnel, if you mean someone who's CPR and first aid certified, that would be yes, me, but there is not necessarily a registered nurse or a doctor who goes on these trips. If you apply and there are not enough spots, we go into second bus mode. So when I advertised this trip to Japan, there were a ton of folks that wanted to go, and we filled that first bus in like 3 days, and it was totally full. So I went to EF and I said, hey, I've got 30 people on the wait list. How are we going to fix this? And we were able to open up a second bus so that we could double the capacity of this trip. So the spots that we have available tonight and the ones that are already registered for the fill one bus. If we find that there are a lot of folks that want to go with us and this trip sells out, we will add another bus and that'll be another 25 spots plus chaperones as well. Their opportunity to add more spots. Let's see, what other questions?
So Liz, it does say on this particular slide, England, Ireland, and Wales 2026, but it is 2025, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's not 20.
Right. I just wanted to clarify for people.
Definitely through 2025. Yep, sorry. Man, I went through this presentation like 17 times to catch little things like that, and I didn't even notice. Yeah, I know. 2025, yep. So there is not time. Lunchtime is typically time to go off on your own. I see Patricia's question there. So yes, there is free time typically during these tours where you can go and explore and shop and have lunch on your own and that sort of thing. So the activities that are like the Tower of London tour and the Thames River and those types of things, those are compulsory though. You can't say, I want to go shopping or go see a show and I'm not going to do the Thames River. Yeah, that's part of the trip. So those types of things are part of the trip. Everyone is expected to participate in those. You cannot go off on your own and just sort of ditch those plans. But like I said, time for free time. A Girl Scout dad can absolutely go as a chaperone. Yep. If I go with my daughter will we have our own room or a room shared? So adults typically room with adults, and girls room with girls. So what has happened in the past is if you and your daughter want to share a room, it's a little bit of an upcharge, because typically that's not what EF, EF doesn't really encourage that. So yes, it's possible. There would be an upcharge. Otherwise, you would stay, if you were going with your daughter, you would stay with another adult, or you could upgrade to a single room as well, which I always do on these tours, just because I need my me time at the end of the day. You can do that, and then your daughter would room with friends or other girls that she might know who are going. Or if not, we will make friends, because that's part of the great part about these trips is that you make some pretty good friends. All right. Any other questions that I'm missing? Nope, no vaccines are required for this. The total bill if you go with your daughter, gosh, I don't even know what that would be. 49 plus 55, about 10,400, give or take.
Liz, someone's asking where they can view this recording.
Any other questions? Yep.
Where can they view this recording to look back on?
So you will be sent a link to this recording. There's going to be like a post-meeting email that's sent out, just kind of like, thank you for hanging out. And the link to this meeting will be in that email that we send you. All right, just looking around. Great grandmother. Okay. All right. So you, Jess, the question is, am I considered an adult or girl scout girl? If you're over 18, you're an adult. Any other questions? All right, so if you have more questions, you can see my contact down there, lschmidt@gsnypenn.org, or you can email Maggie Lenahan. She is our EF representative. And if you have any specific questions about policies, procedures, that sort of thing, you can contact her. The additional insurance, room up charges, add-ons available right at enrollment. Oh, I've never actually seen a participant enrollment page. That's a really good question, Heather. The room up charges, I don't think so. I think as we get closer, I sent out an email for Japan, and I said, hey, who wants to upgrade the room? And we kind of took care of it there. But I don't know. I'm uncertain if that's on your enrollment page. It might just ask you tonight to pay the $95 and take care of the other stuff later on. Good question though. There is an additional charge for college credit. I'm not sure if there's an additional charge for high school credit, but for college credit, yes, there would be. All right. So I don't see any other questions coming in, but like I said, if you have any, feel free to contact me down at the bottom at gsnypenn.org. Thank you, Rini, very much for controlling the chat and letting me know when I'm cutting out and all that sort of thing. And I really hope you come with us. This is going to be a great trip. It's a great beginner's trip for folks who are new to travel, and I think it's going to be awesome. So join me, enroll tonight, get $300 off, and I hope to see you in 2025, not 2026, for England, Ireland, and Wales. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.